Morning. It's about 8:25 on the 1st of January 2025, and I'm in the player Oliva, where I'm be starting my winter marathon run this morning. It's been a bit sort of up and down as to whether I'm going to be doing the run today. I originally planned to do it on the 1st, but then there were some weather warnings about rain, and indeed, although it's not raining now, it has rained, and the pavements and the roads are pretty wet. So I kind of decided, let's do it on the 2nd rather than on the 1st. But then I woke up this morning and I thought, to heck with it. Let's just do it. I've got the marathon to do, so I hate postponing stuff. Anyway, so fingers crossed, this will be marathon number 24, and the plan is to run to Playa Gandia from Oliva along the coast road, and then up through around Playa Gandia, and then back to the main town on the Greenway, back to Oliva, and then hopefully make my way back to the car if I can find it. Anyway, so that's the plan. Anyway, so let's see how it goes. Looking forward to it. Okay, so what have I got with me today? Well, because it's the 1st of January, I don't know what will actually be available in terms of shops or cafes and so on. So I've got my top here, or storage, and I'll be taking a couple of bottles of plain water, because it was a last minute thing. I didn't have a chance to put any electrolytes in it. I've got my body camera there. I'll be putting that on in a few minutes. Got some liquids, and then I've got some gels, 3 gels, a protein bar, and some jelly bars. The run starts at Playa Gandia along the seafront. Then the route heads into Playa Gandia along the seafront there, including the harbour, to the halfway point, then back down into Gandia and along the Greenway towards Oliva, and then around the town back to the car park. You'll have gathered it was a very last-minute decision to run today. I pretty much made my mind up to do the virtual winter marathon later in the week, but looking at the forecast, I decided that it was probably better to run in slightly cooler and damper conditions rather than the warmer, drier weather that's been forecast. As most experienced runners know, running in hot weather can be really tough. A little bit of drizzle, coolish weather doesn't really pose a problem. Oliva beach area was very quiet, as you would probably expect early in the morning on a bank holiday. But the great news was that as I arrived, there was a cafe opening, which meant that an end of run coffee was going to be possible. I'd kind of braced myself for no coffee, so that was a really pleasant surprise. The run itself started very well. I had to avoid some large puddles of water on the road and on the pavement. I really didn't want to get soggy feet too early in the run, of course. And then I headed out from the player into the town and onto the old coast road that went through the villages of Piles, Miramar, Guadamar, Damias, and eventually Playa Gandia. I started taking the gels on the old coast road and they seemed to work pretty well, but they were a bit awkward to take. And the truth is, it wasn't always easy to find a bin to dispose of the empty tubes, even in the villages. In Playa Gandia, I went up and down the harbour wall. This time, running along the top of the harbour wall, it was completely impossible to avoid some really large puddles, unfortunately. But the shoes appeared to cope well, and even though my feet did get wet, the reality is it didn't affect my run. My feet seemed to dry out, in fact, over the course of the activity. There were quite a few walkers and runners out in Gandia, by the way. It's a very, very popular spot. The run back to Oliva from Gandia was pretty uneventful. I suppose I was very conscious of my time, and I wanted to do my best to maintain a steady pace. The flat straight in the greenway was ideal. Unfortunately, when I reached Oliva at a road crossing, a car failed to stop and I was very, very nearly knocked over by it. I managed to jump out of the way, but only just in time. Ironically, it was almost directly in front of an ambulance station, so there perhaps wouldn't have been too long a wait to be picked up and taken to the hospital if the worst had happened. Feeling a bit shaken, I continued up to the N332 that goes through the town, and I followed the road to the other side of the town, and then followed the road directions back to the player. When I got back to the car, I saw that I still needed to do about 700 meters to get to the correct distance. So I needed to do a little loop around the player. Next time, I may extend the run around Gandia town to add the extra distance. Apart from being nearly knocked over, it was, I would say, an enjoyable run. I was amazed at my time. less than 2 minutes slower than the super fast time I did in Valencia last month. So perhaps a sub 4:30 marathon might be possible this year. I've got quite a few marathons lined up, so fingers crossed one of them will be fast. What do I have coming up, actually? Well, thinking about the runs this month, in a few days I hope to climb Peñón in Calpe. That will definitely be a walk climb, no running involved in that one. And then in a couple of weeks' time, there's the Santa Paula half marathon, which will be interesting. I don't know too much about the course, but I suspect that it'll be pretty tough. Anyway, hopefully I'll see you there. If you've actually made it this far to the end of the video, congratulations. That's awesome. So thank you very much. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with your fellow runners.